people like mint chocolate chip, which is my favorite example. Other people like vanilla with rainbow Jimmies. That's personally my favorite. Jimmies are sprinkles for anybody who doesn't know. What is your favorite brand right now and why?
Brand or flavor?
Brand. Let's get into it.
Of ice cream?
No, brand is in wrestling.
Brand is in wrestling? Okay.
Yeah, I like to refer to them as different flavors of ice cream because people can get so negative. I'm like, hey.
I was going to say, I'm going to say United Dairy Farmers Butter Pecan. That's what I was going to say. But
well, what's the wrestling version of that butter pecan?
I would say probably the easiest for me to watch is AEW Dynamite. Just because,
okay.
Yeah, it's just a little bit different. And when you've watched a certain brand for so long, you can kind of figure out their creative patterns and where they're going to go next. And AEW is really good at making me guess about their creative patterns and like what's going to happen next. For example, they had a really hot feud with MJF and Cody. And in WWE, had they done that, we probably would have seen that match 5 or 6 times in a row. They did it once and they haven't touched it since then. And I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Because now in 6 months, if they do go back to that, I'm probably going to be like, oh, cool. They're back to this. I really enjoy that. If I had to watch one show every week, it'd probably be AEW right now. And they've shown their willingness to change if something didn't work. For example, Brandy and Kong cut my hair for charity, and their gimmick wasn't really working. It wasn't clicking with the audience very well. And we were going to do this thing at the end of February, and they were like, we got to move it up to January. We're splitting up the stable. It's not working. So we had to move that up and film it because they were nixing the whole thing. Fans didn't want it, so they got rid of it. That willingness to change and adapt based on your crowd is, I think, what should be rooted in pro wrestling. You're playing to a crowd. You're looking to please or upset them. And I think they've done that really well.
See, I don't hate you for what you're saying, and I think more people need to be that open-minded. I don't have a favorite brand because I just love wrestling.
Sure.
I love all kinds of different flavors. I love all kinds of different styles and moves and gimmicks and characters and looks. I think there's a time and a place and a spot for almost everything and almost everyone, basically. And for me, I loved that fans were hating on that gimmick. I loved it because I was like, there is such good heat there. Like, oh, you don't like this? Well, too bad. And then more of it and more of it and more of it, because there could be so much heat built up there. Like, I saw potential in that. And there's ways that it didn't necessarily have to be nixed, in my opinion. There was ways to work it, because I think that there's 2 kinds of reactions. People either love to love, I hate to love, or they love to hate. So yeah. I guess 3, basically. And when somebody loves to hate you, that is also money, because they will pay money to try to shut you up. They will pay money to try to get you off TV. They will pay money to go and see you to find out what is your car and then try to slit your tires.
As we were preparing for that, we were supposed to do this at AEW Revolution, the convention in Chicago at the end of February.
That
we were supposed to do it. Yeah, we were supposed to do it then. And they kept messaging me, and they're like, hey, we got to move it up. What do you think about Cleveland? And I'm like, I think Cleveland sounds terrible, but I'll do it because I'm pretty much a Cincinnati guy. Between Lexington and Cincinnati, Cleveland's like the rival city out here. But they were like, let's move it up a month in Cleveland. And I was like, I hope you guys know, just because I live in Kentucky and that's Ohio, it's not my backyard. It's 7 hours away from here. But we moved it up, and I had no idea that they were splitting the faction up then. Obviously, they didn't want to tell Internet Wrestling Writer, hey, we're breaking up this stable. But we filmed the segment, they cut my hair, and then like 2 hours later, they broke it up. And
wow, that fast?
Yeah, they filmed my segment. It ran the next day on their social media, and then they filmed the segment for the breakup for AEW Dark, so it ran on Tuesday. So by the time them cutting my hair showed up on their Twitter, they had already actually split up, which was pretty crazy. But also, I thought it was very cool of them to get that done beforehand, because they knew how much that raising money for that charity meant to me. So I always thought that was really cool. The B plan for that, we were going to do Tampa, and I was going to have Brutus Beefcake cut it, which Fortunately, we didn't do because Tampa didn't happen. But yeah, it's wild how everything worked out for that one.
It's still pretty cool, even the Plan B. I've been on quite a few shows with Beefcake, and he
Oh
was
yeah.
always like very respectful to us women, which is very different for some older guys, like because wrestling was different back then.
Yeah.
But he was always so respectful. Whenever I would ask him to watch my matches, he always had like really good insight, and you could tell that he actually watched the match and absorbed it. And he'd be like, okay, I see that you're trying to tell this story. Maybe tweak this here, or if you would have put this here, you would have had a better flow psychology wise, and yada yada yada. And I always liked wrestlers like that who actually took the time. So he was pretty cool. So that would have been pretty dope as well.
Yeah, and admittedly, when that idea was thrown out to me, I was like, is he going to be a carny about this and be like, give me $1,000? And he wasn't. He was like, hey, take me out to dinner, me and my wife out to dinner. We'll have a good time. We'll talk about stuff and we'll do it. And I was like, that's so cool, because a lot of people like that do just care about the buck. And he saw it for what it was, and I thought that was super awesome. It said a lot about him. Also, his book is really good. A lot of people,
I haven't read it yet. No spoilers.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. A lot of people are like, really? Brutus Beefcake, an awesome book? It's incredible. I was blown away by it.
I have to read it. I actually have it in my queue getting ready to buy. I have like a bunch of books waiting in there.
Oh, it's so good. Admittedly, I didn't expect that, but somebody recommended it to me. And I was like, damn, okay, I got to check that out. And I